Dear students, welcome back to my channel. In this class, let us discuss about different types of heat capacities. Okay, it is the doubt of so many students. So, what is meant by heat capacity? What is meant by specific heat capacity? What is meant by molar heat capacity? And what is latent heat of capacity? Okay, like that, so many students have doubts on their minds. Okay, so I think this video may clarify your doubts. See, first of all, if we come across different types of heat capacities, the first thing which comes to our mind is heat capacity. Just heat capacity or simply thermal capacity. Thermal capacity. It is denoted by the letter capital H, or simply you can also use capital S in place of capital H. Okay, see, heat capacity refers to or simply thermal capacity of a substance, means H will be defined as Q divided by delta T, where Q stands for amount of heat energy and delta T stands for change in temperature. Change in temperature. Okay. To frame one definition for any physical quantity, so please note down. When you have to use this trick, when delta T is equal to 1 Kelvin, then H will be equal to capital Q. It means what? Heat capacity or thermal capacity of a substance can be defined as the amount of heat energy required to rise its temperature by 1 Kelvin. Okay? So, the thermal capacity of a substance can be defined as the amount of heat energy required to rise the temperature of that substance by 1 Kelvin. Okay. Here we won't say about mass of the body. Therefore, it is clear that it depends on mass. More is the mass of the body, more the heat we want. Isn't it? See, to boil one glass of water, if we spend, for example, Q amount of heat, then to heat 2 glasses of same type of water, so we need to supply more heat energy, obviously. Therefore, it purely depends on mass. More the mass, more will be the heat required. Okay, like that. More the size, more will be the amount of heat energy required to rise its temperature by 1 Kelvin. And also it depends on nature of that substance. So to boil one glass of water, it takes less amount of heat. Similarly, to boil same glass of milk or coffee or tea, it takes more heat, isn't it? So that is the trick here. Please remember, heat capacity of a substance can be defined as the amount of heat energy required to rise the temperature of a substance, whole substance, by 1 Kelvin. Okay. Now, if we come to its SI unit, it is having one SI unit. See, for Q we use joule, for delta T, change in temperature, we use Kelvin. Therefore, joule per Kelvin is the SI unit for this heat capacity, or simply thermal capacity. As I said earlier, this thermal capacity depends on actual mass of the body, nature of the body, and also the size of the body. Okay. Now, let us come to the different types of heat capacities now. First type we want to read here is specific heat capacity. Specific heat capacity, and it is denoted by small c. Specific heat capacity. What makes the difference here means it is also heat capacity. Here we haven't considered the mass of the body. Here we have to consider the mass of the body. So we usually take the mass of the body is equal to 1 kg, or unit mass we consider. Okay, when the mass of the body becomes unit or unity, then the specific heat capacity will become heat capacity. Therefore, it can be defined like this. Small c is given by the same Q, but I include mass into delta T. Okay, what is its SI unit now? Q for Q, joule, for mass, kg, joule per kg, delta T, Kelvin. Joule per kg per Kelvin is the SI unit for specific heat capacity. Here specific heat capacity depends on mass? No, it is independent of mass, because here we have selected M is equal to 1 kg already. Therefore, C depends only on the nature of the substance. Okay, specific heat capacity for water is different from specific heat capacity for milk. Okay, like that. Ultimately, the value of specific heat capacity of water is more. Okay, how much? 4200 joule per kg per Kelvin. Okay, see. Now here, to define this specific heat capacity, let us select this. If M is equal to 1 kg and delta T is equal to 1 Kelvin, then C will become Q. It means what? Specific heat capacity of a substance can be defined as the amount of heat energy required to rise the temperature of 1 kg of that substance by 1 Kelvin. Here delta T is equal to 1 Kelvin. Specific heat capacity of a substance can be defined as the amount of heat energy required to rise the temperature of 1 kg of that substance by 1 Kelvin. Okay. Now, we have discussed the SI unit also. What is the relationship between heat capacity and specific heat capacity? Relation between capital H and small c. Okay. What is the relation between thermal capacity and specific heat capacity? See, from this we can write C is equal to Q divided by M into delta T. What I will do here means, I will take 1 by M aside and I will write Q by delta T inside the bracket. Next, in place of Q by delta T, what we can substitute? We can substitute capital H. Therefore, it is given by 1 by M into H. Therefore, H is equal to M into C. Please remember, this is the relationship between heat capacity and specific heat capacity. Okay, capital H is equal to small m into C. That is, heat capacity is equal to mass times the specific heat capacity. And as I said earlier, H becomes C when M is equal to 1 kg. Like that. Next. Now, in this specific heat capacity, we discuss two types of specific heat capacities. First one, the specific heat capacity at a constant volume, and the second one is specific heat capacity at a constant pressure. Okay, that is types of specific heat capacities. Types of specific heat capacities. First one, CV. CV means specific heat capacity at a constant volume. And CV can be defined as CV is equal to Q divided by M into delta T. And we write V here. Okay. It means what? The amount of heat energy required to rise the temperature of a substance having mass 1 kg by 1 Kelvin at constant volume. Okay. The amount of heat energy required to rise the temperature of 1 kg of substance by 1 Kelvin at a constant volume is called specific heat capacity at a constant volume. Similarly, the second one is CP. Specific heat capacity at a constant pressure. How can we define this CP means? Just like this, Q divided by M into delta T at constant pressure. Okay. The specific heat capacity at constant pressure can be defined as the amount of heat energy required to rise the temperature of 1 kg of substance by 1 Kelvin at a constant pressure. Okay, so that's it from specific heat capacity. Now, just like this, let us discuss the next type of heat capacity, that is molar heat capacity. Actually, we use the molar specific heat capacity for gases only. Molar specific heat, molar heat capacity. Molar heat capacity. It is denoted by capital C. Capital H means just heat capacity or thermal capacity. Small c means specific heat capacity. But capital C means molar heat capacity. Please remember, C can be defined as Q divided by N into delta T, where N is number of moles. Q is heat energy, delta T is difference in temperature or rise in temperature. Okay, so here where N can be written as small m divided by capital M, actual mass of the gas over the molecular weight or simply molecular mass of that gas gives us number of moles, as you know well about it. Okay, now when N is equal to 1 mole, delta T is equal to 1 Kelvin, then C is equal to Q. What does it mean? How can we define molar heat capacity? Molar heat capacity of a gas can be defined as the amount of heat energy required to rise the temperature of 1 mole of a gas by 1 Kelvin. Please remember. Okay? The molar heat capacity of a gas can be defined as the amount of heat energy required to rise the temperature of 1 mole of gas by 1 Kelvin. What is its SI unit now? It is joule per mole per Kelvin. Joule per mole per Kelvin is the SI unit for molar heat capacity. Just like the specific heat capacity, here also in molar heat capacity we have two types of molar heat capacities. Okay, before going to types of molar heat capacities, let me tell you the relationship between heat capacity and molar heat capacity. Relation between capital H and capital C. We know that capital C can be written as 1 by N times Q by delta T. Isn't it? Okay? 1 by N into Q by delta T. But Q by delta T is what? Capital H. 1 by N into capital H. Therefore, capital H is equal to N into capital C. Please remember this. When N becomes 1 mole, then H will be C. Molar heat capacity of a gas can be defined as the amount of heat energy required to rise the temperature of 1 mole of gas by 1 Kelvin. Now, let's come to the type of molar heat capacities. First one, capital CV, that is molar heat capacity at constant volume. And it can be defined as CV is equal to Q divided by N into delta T at constant volume. Similarly, Cp can be defined as Cp is equal to Q divided by N into delta T at constant pressure. The amount of heat energy required to rise the temperature of 1 mole of gas at constant volume is called CV. The amount of heat energy required to rise the temperature of 1 mole of gas by 1 Kelvin at constant pressure is called Cp. Okay? Now, this is the relationship between H and C. Now, the last type of heat capacity is latent heat capacity. Latent heat capacity. latent heat capacity can be defined as, can be denoted by the letter capital L. Okay, here for L we can write Q divided by M. What does it mean? When M is equal to 1 kg, then L is equal to Q. Latent heat capacity of a substance can be defined as the amount of heat energy required to convert unit mass of the substance from one state to another state at a constant temperature. Please remember, okay, ice will melt and it will convert into water at 0 degrees Celsius. Correct? Similarly, water will boil at 100 degrees Celsius and it will convert into steam or vapors or gas, like that. Here we usually consider the change of state at a constant temperature. Latent heat capacity means the amount of heat energy required to convert 1 kg of substance from one state to another state at a constant temperature. What is the SI unit for capital L? Means it is joule per kg. Please remember. Okay. So, and these are the different kinds of heat capacities. Apart from this, okay, among all these things, we have only the molar heat capacities in our chapter, thermodynamics here. And in the next class, let us discuss the relationship between Cp and Cv of an ideal gas. Okay? Anyhow, thank you for watching.